Just taking a little peek, see where I'm at, and Hi everyone, thank you for watching. My name is Ivan Blasquez. I have a master's degree in exercise physiology. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm also a professional natural bodybuilder and physique athlete. I'd like to discuss today how to build muscle and burn fat simultaneously. I was recently inspired by a question on YouTube, and I'd like to answer the question. It wasn't addressed to me, but I perused through a video and I saw it in the comment section. I was like, do I have any videos addressing this? And I do not. I really do not, even though this is actually an approach that I'm very firm on, and this is my approach when I actually compete. Now, obviously, if we were to not do cardio and lift weights only, we would see amazing gains in muscle, amazing gains. However, the body fat would go up too. It's scientifically proven that's what happens. When your body gets anabolic, it's not like it just thinks muscle, it thinks everything. The fat will increase as well as the muscle. So how do you increase muscle and burn fat? Well, realistically speaking, we really want to maintain muscle while we burn fat and maybe build muscle a little bit. Okay, it's going to take longer because concurrent training, doing endurance training and resistance training, it's a balancing act between two sets of adaptations that tend to oppose each other. So what's the best answer? Somewhere's in the middle. Somewhere's in the middle ground. And usually that will have to be a situation where the person kind of accepts it and they like it. And most people, we're talking about everyday people, that's what they want. They want to be leaner and they want to be firmer and toner and have good, solid, shapely muscle. It looks good, looks sexy, right? So how do we do it? I'd say, without getting into specifics, the one factor that I know makes muscle grow and fat shrink away or burn off the body is intensity. Exercise has to be intense enough. Even if you're doing cardio or weights, the intensity has to be sufficient enough. Because intensity is related to, obviously, favorable hormone changes, particularly growth hormone, testosterone. But more importantly than that, intensity is also related to muscle fiber or motor unit recruitment. In other words, the fast twitch muscles. Okay, now if I lost you here, just stick with me, okay? Fast twitch muscles are the muscles that make you move quick and help you lift heavy. They're the power muscles, right? Those are the ones that they're energetically the most expensive. In other words, they burn more calories because of the rate of energy expenditure associated with them. So that's why HIIT training is good for building muscle and burning fat, because it targets the fast twitch muscle fibers. And you're also going to get a surge of growth hormone and testosterone, which is really gender independent. In other words, men and women benefit from that when it's naturally boosted in your body. And HIIT training doesn't have to just be cardio. It could be actually more like a circuit circuit style workouts where you're doing a set of weights and then you go do an interval on some kind of endurance interval, whether it be a bodyweight calisthenic or it could be on some kind of a machine or something along those lines. But really, it's bringing those two modes of exercise together, doing weight training and cardio. Okay, and they should basically be both equally distributed on your program. I would say generally the cardio is going to be a little more than the weight training. The weight training, it does not take much to get the effect of the weight training. You just have to lift weights at a rep range that's going to challenge you anywhere between 8 to 12 reps, and you need to be struggling by 8 to 12 because that's the right weight for that rep range. And you want to work obviously the major muscle groups, the larger ones, the pulling muscles and the pulling muscles and the pushing muscles, your chest and your back, and then you also want to work your legs. Okay. Mainly your upper thighs, the quads, the hamstrings, your glutes, those larger muscle groups, and then you can split your routine to maybe arms and shoulders, but you're going to get your arms and shoulders anytime you do chest and back anyway. So to simplify it, yes, you definitely want to do weights, but you also want to do cardio. Not just HIIT too. HIIT's great, but you're going to have days where you want to focus on just getting the time in too, like doing your 30 minutes straight, and it's not just a walk in the park, but you're working too for those 30 minutes. So that would be my answer to the question. The simple answer, okay, is that you have to do both. And that intensity of exercise for both is going to obviously build muscle and burn fat, because that's what it comes down to, is the intensity. The muscles respond to intensity. Not only do they respond to it from a standpoint of you working your power muscle fibers, the fast twitch, but hormonally you're going to surge your growth hormone and testosterone. They are directly related to intensity, which is obviously how hard the workout is. So doesn't mean every workout has to be hard, but at least a good majority of them should be. If you're working out 5 days a week, at least 3 should be definitely challenging. So anyway, that's my answer. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Feel free to leave comments. If you have any more further questions about it, I can obviously address it in details. But okay, so I wanted to talk about is another aspect to the how to build muscle and burn fat at the same time is the micro versus macro cycles. When we think macro cycles, most people focus on or I should say not most people, but the bodybuilding approach is bulk up 3 to 6 months and you cut 3 to 6 months, right? But when you're trying to do both, which is hard because when you're building muscle, you're watching your body fat to make sure that it doesn't increase, really doesn't increase at all, if at all, and so it takes a lot longer. But it's possible. How? Well, I've done it. I remember I started this I kind of was tweaking things, and in these last couple of years, I've kind of been able to it's happening slowly and surely, and a lot of it is because of the intensity of exercise, as I mentioned just earlier. But so macro is 3 to 6 months. Micro it can vary from week to week to day to day. So in other words, your training kind of changes based on kind of the relationship between muscle and fat. So if you start to like if your weight is weight's part of it, but I think a lot of it is just appearance. Like if your muscles start to look stringier or flatter, and it's hard for people to identify this because this is how I'm able to kind of identify with my own clients, is I can kind of see it, and I can kind of like I said, the micro phase is right in that day. We're gonna lift more weights that day. Let's say they come in maybe over the weekend and they drank a lot over the weekend, right? So they may be a little bloated, they may be retaining or smoother. So now we're going to do cardio. We're going to focus on conditioning. We're going to because they're not really in need of lifting weights to burn fat. They got to do some conditioning first to kind of cut down a little bit, and then if they start to cut down too much, we put the weights in. We start shifting to weights so we can try and fill them out a little more. So it's like a little kind of a micro cycles where you make adjustments, but they're more precise because they're within a smaller window of time. And over time now, the results will be amazing because you're creating stability in your body's body composition. Not only that, but just, again, the changes are going to be small. It's not going to be like a pendulum where it swings from one extreme to the end. They're going to be micro changes. So that's how you build muscle and burn fat simultaneously. It has to be subtle changes and gradual changes. And so thank you for watching.